Hey, welcome to CAF update number 8. This is going to cover the period of August 21st through the 27th. You might be wondering why I've decided not to do a live stream this week, and it's just because my schedule has just been really busy. My son's been getting ready to move to college and to his new apartment, home, rental, whatever he's got, and he just isn't nailing down the dates for me. And so I just felt like I couldn't allocate a specific amount of time to actually do a live stream. So this week it's just all recorded. I hope you don't mind. Also, as you can see, nobody sent me any merchandise this week, so I am wearing my Chardon softball shirt. This is not from me playing softball. I actually was a coach for a number of years on one of my daughter's softball teams. It was always a lot of fun. So I am supporting Chardon softball this week. There is a few things in the news. Obviously, if you've heard the news about the Comic Art Con, it is returning on Sunday, September 20th, so that's good news. They're going to give it a go. I think it's going to come off and actually succeed this time, which is good. I know that I had talked to Joe, who runs the show, a few weeks ago, and he kind of gave me the rundown on where they were at and what they were going to do, and I fully support it. I think it's going to go over really well. It's in New Jersey, so it's not a show I can attend, but I hope that he has a good turnout, and he definitely deserves it, and it's great to have that show back up and running. Of course, there is also Comic Art Live. That's November 14th and 15th. There's a lot of things kind of in motion right now with regards to that I'm getting pretty excited about. I'm going to be sending out a number of emails probably in about a week to several art reps with some pitch ideas on things that I want to do, and I've already actually got my first couple guests lined up. I'm not going to spoil anything right now. Those announcements will probably come within the next 2 weeks. So with that in mind, also I did pick up a new advertiser on CAF this past week. That is Comic Art Factory. That's run by Frederick Lorge. The domain name is comicartfactory.com. He's got over 700 originals up for sale. He does regular exhibitions as well. And so there's a lot of interesting things to look forward to from him and his website. So I encourage you to check them out. Now, this past week there have been during the report period, there was a lot of rather large sales. Ironically, for eBay, as far as the auction house side of the world goes, eBay had its 2 largest sales of the year in this report period, which was, which almost never happens. I mean, eBay tends to never have any good artwork available at all. And I say good, I should say great. And in this case, there were 2 pieces that came up that really garnered a lot of attention. Only, one had a lot of bids, the other one was a straight up buy. So I just want to jump right into the auction house market data report and show you some images from those auctions and then move on to the next one. All right, so overall comic art auction sales were $388,000. Of that, probably 310 of that came from eBay, and the number 1 piece from eBay was this John Buscema piece that was owned by his grandson that sold for $83,000. Pretty incredible. Next up is this Dan Jurgens Death of Superman page that sold for $39,000. Had only 1 bid, but certainly, the person who won that one has got to be thrilled to get that piece. And finally from eBay is this Mike Mignola Batman and the Red Death painting that sold for $17,300. Another part of Mignola's auctions to support his favorite charity. And this is from Heritage, and it's a Chester Gould Dick Tracy comic strip from 1932, sold for $4,080. Definitely worth it. This is a really nice early piece. And next up is actually another strip, ironically, which we don't see too many of these. This is a Ben Casey Daily by Neil Adams, which sold for $2,640 from Heritage. And last but not least is a Kurt Swan Murphy Anderson Action Comics 411 page. I just love those 2 central panels with the big key. And again, never understand DC, can't get it, but I love Swan Superman. All right, so dealers had a pretty incredible week as well. Honestly, dealers have been having incredible weeks probably for the last 6 or 8 weeks. And this week being easily no exception. I thought last week was a good week, $293,000 in sales. This week there is actually $303,000 in original sales, with actually a few less pieces selling. So that is a testament to the quality of the work There was no one big $50,000 piece that skewed the numbers like we saw with eBay's pieces in their sales. Dealers, it was just straight up solid, good merchandise. So with that in mind, let's give a quick look through the top 6 pieces from our dealers this week. Alright, so like I said, dealer sales $303,000, up from $293,000 the last time. This first piece sold for $25,000. It's a Alex Ross painted cover, clearly, from Superman number 683, sold by Ramita Man. Next up is a piece sold by Panel Page Art. It's a Jeff Scott Campbell Gen 13 number 5 cover, sold for an asking price of $25,000. It's going to appear again in a little bit in our popular artwork. Here it's the cover image, actually, to Thor number 1 by Nick Klein, sold by Felix Comic Art. Asking price, well, it sold for $20,000, and it was the complete issue. Next up is Werewolf by Night number 27 cover by Gil Kane and Tom Palmer from 1974. This was sold for $19,000 by Ramita Man Original Art. Next up is the cover to Amazing Spider-Man number 789, again by Alex Ross, sold for $14,000 by Ramita Man Original Art again. I don't know what he's doing with all that Alex Ross art. Finally, a Dorian Vallejo Savage Sword of Conan number 175 cover, sold for $14,000 as well by IX Gallery. I know you can do math as well as I can. You can combine the two reports for auction data and dealer data, and it almost reached $700,000, which is pretty impressive. Normal weeks, obviously, we're probably around $500,000 between the two, unless we have a signature auction from Heritage that we're able to report on. So clearly 700 is a fantastic number, and honestly at the end of the day I don't see that number going away anytime soon. Sales have just been really, really good. Strangely enough, I've been seeing a lot of spikes even over on eBay, and the dealers just keep rolling out great stuff. So I think that we're going to see these really strong numbers continue on into the fall, and I don't see any let up. I think they'll be very interesting to see how Comic Art Con goes, and maybe talk to some people afterwards to see how the sales go there. Because clearly, I think a lot of the momentum that we've had in the last 5-6 months is really due to COVID and the fact that everybody's home and they're all buying online rather than buying at shows. So, once shows start slowly coming back, which again really isn't going to happen until probably next spring, which is why I say I don't foresee the reports that I have available to you to be declining anytime soon. But I'm really curious to see how the sales in person go, because I know Comic Art Con is going to be able to get the dealers out there this time. Are the buyers going to come out? I mean, I think a lot of people are going to want to go out to that show, just because at the end of the day, how often do we get to be social anymore, in ways like that? So, I mean, hell, if I was there, I'd be going. I'd be wearing a mask, but I would be going. So, with that in mind, I got to roll into the featured art so we can wrap this whole thing up. This week, the reporting period in question, the overriding theme here is covers. Every single piece is a cover. Now, there were a couple pieces that I could have, kind of squeezed in there that were a commission or whatnot, but it was very evident that the top pieces for this reporting period were all covers. I mean, I actually took a few covers out to try to keep it at my regular number of 13 pieces to feature. I don't know why I picked that number. It's just a good number. But there are 13 covers in this next update, and I think that you're going to be impressed because as far as I was concerned, there wasn't a average piece in the bunch, and everybody who owns these pieces has to be absolutely thrilled to have them in their collection. So let's roll the tape. Alright, we're kicking this cover fest off with a Jack Kirby Frank Giacoia cover from Marvel Double Feature number 18. It's supposed to be Cap and Iron Man in this issue, but Iron Man is nowhere to be seen as Cap is getting his rear end handed to him by MODOK. Next up is actually going to be a pair of two covers by Sean Gordon Murphy. This is the cover to number 7 of Batman Curse of the White Knight, and next up is the same title but the cover to issue number 3. They are both owned by Edward N., and you can buy Sean's work at SeanGordonMurphy.com. This is a cover by Philip Tan, owned by JN80. It's the Dark Phoenix number 40th anniversary cover. Next up is the cover to Black Panther and the Agents of Wakanda by Humberto Ramos in the collection of Kay Guerin. Definitely a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, as is this cover. This is the cover to Black Panther Volume 3, number 34 by Sal Velluto and Bob Almond. Bob, of course, is a heck of an inker, runs the Inkpot Awards. And here is that cover I spoke of earlier, the cover to Gen 13, number 5, in the collection of Joshua Tan by J. Scott Campbell and Alex Garner. This, of course, is the cover to Detective Comics number 399 by who else but Neal Adams. It's in the collection of Bill J. I really love this piece. Batman and a Torch. Next up is a Mike Mignola Hellboy and the BPRD cover from Her Fatal Hour and The Sending, collection of Jason Brightman. Now here's one for you. I like this cover a lot. It's by Tyler Kirkham. It's the Juggernaut number 1 cover, once again in the collection of JN80. Lots of detail. He is upset. This is the Ghost Rider number 9 cover by Javier Saltares. It's in the collection of Jason Versace, a good friend of mine. And I like this one. It's got the X Factor, Ghost Rider. What more can you ask for, right? And, you know, okay, I said every cover is phenomenal this time around. Here is a Peter Porker Spectacular Spider-Ham number 13 cover by Joe Abello from Paul P's collection. That one was a good one, wasn't it? Next up is a Slingers number 10 cover. Chris Cross and Rob Stull are the artists, collection of Kay Guerin. And finally, we have this really awesome Daredevil Volume 3 number 25 variant in the collection of Jason Schechter from Adam Kubert and Danny Mickey. Alright, I was not trying to sell the Peter Porker cover short. It really is a great cover. You know, I don't know, as a character, I always kind of chuckle at it. It is funny, and that particular cover I thought was a really kind of weird mashup of styles, and it felt a lot like Disney and Marvel years before, you know, the merger. So anyway, it was a really good showing this week, and I've already, you know, looked over the work that's probably going to be in next week's piece. So in next week's update, and I think it's going to be even better than this week's. And what I'm going to try to do, you know, because I really think that these would be more fun to do live than to pre-record them. I've really got to just be able to do it during the week and do it probably like at 9 p.m. Eastern time, like we do the Comic Art Live chats on Tuesday. So, you know, it would have to wait until Wednesday, so it's a Wednesday or a Thursday kind of thing. I certainly wouldn't want to do it on Friday, since I'm sure all of you are out having a good time, or you at least should be doing something rather than sitting in front of your computer on a Friday night. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I am going to try to do this next week live, Wednesday or Thursday. Now, Tuesday we do have the next Comic Art Live piece with Mike Berkey, Glenn Brunswick, and Will Gabrielle. Our guest is going to be collector George Hagenauer. George has a long history in original comic art. He's done a lot of work in Chicago with the show there. He ran the auction at that show for a very long time. So he's going to have a lot of fun stories to tell. Looking forward to talking with him on Tuesday evening. I hope to see you there. Check out the description in this YouTube piece, because there will be a link that goes back to CAF, so you can check out all the pieces that we've talked about here, and definitely look at them in more detail, since what we show here on our updates just is never going to do the pieces justice when you can see them over on CAF. So again, thank you. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Come on, I need more subscribers. Thank you. Peace.